Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to grab the Blueberry Muffin palette from BH Cosmetics. I have never used this palette in a video and I wanted to do a palette bingo with it. So I randomly selected 5 shadows using a random number generator, and this is the look that I came up with. I hope that you like it as much as I ended up liking it, and if you want to see how I did it, then stick around and I'll show you. If you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom who loves to play with colorful eyeshadow. I just love it. It makes me happy, it makes me smile, it makes my day better, and it's a beautiful expression of creativity, helps me release some tensions, and it's great. So if you also like colorful eyeshadow, tutorials, rankings, decolors, palette bingos, anything like that, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Comment with what you'd like to see or what your thoughts are on the video, or if you have this palette and if you like it. And remember that you can find me on Instagram as well at Shimmers and Silver. Now let's get right to it. As you can see, I decided to just use a random number generator off the internet. So I've entered my range as the lower limit of 1 and the upper limit of 16, because there are 16 shadows in the palette. So let's see what we get. Number 15, this is Fluffy. So let's see. Nice, pretty peachy matte. It's always good to start with a matte. I'm a little concerned that we'll get a lot of shimmers with this drawing, but we'll see. Clear, oops, wrong button, 1 through 16, enter. Number 5, that's this one over here, Sugared. I do really like this one as a highlight color. This is Sugared. Enter. Number 3, which is this one right here, Crumble. See, there's another shimmer, and it's not super different from Sugared. You can't see on the camera, but the difference is that Crumble has more of a pink, brownish kind of tone to it, and Sugared is a very nice white shimmer. All right, 2 more shades. Come on, let's get some mattes up in here. Oh my goodness, I hit the wrong button again. 1 through 16, enter. No, we already got 3. Do it again. Number 14, here we go. Delish, that's a good matte. All right. And finally, the last shadow will be number 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yummy. This is a much more purple shimmer. Alright, so I have 3 shimmers and 2 mattes. I like all of the shadows in this palette, so I wish I had one more matte, but I don't, so I will work with this. Before I do anything with the shadows, I'm going to prime my eyes, as I always do. Today I'm going to be using the Glamlite Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. I've been wanting to do a palette bingo again, because I really enjoy palette bingos. You always get a combination that you weren't planning on, obviously, and they can really challenge you, especially if you have a very varied color story within the palette. They really challenge you and push you out of your comfort zone. And if it's a well-designed palette, then the colors will always look nice together. But they might not be the combination that you would have selected yourself. So, you know, it's just good practice to push yourself a little bit. And these 16 pan palettes are really good for bingo because you have enough choices, but not so many that your look is going to be insane. So I have the matte peach and the matte blue. I think I'm going to do matte peach on the inner corner, matte blue on the outer, and then I'll do like similarly matching shimmers. Honestly, I might grab one of the browns to deepen it out a little bit, just because I know, like, When it comes to palette bingos, I make sure that I use all of the tones that I've randomly selected, but I also recognize that I have to wear it all day. And I want it to be something that I like, and I want it to be something that is true to my style and my preferences. I don't want to go through my day not liking my eyeshadow look because it was randomly chosen for me. So sometimes I use all the colors that I picked, but then I might add in one, specifically to deepen out the outer corner or something, especially with a light palette like this. I don't know, I might do that today. But I'm gonna start with a small blending brush and dip into the shade Fluffy. Fluffy! I'm gonna put that in my inner corner crease. Work it up a bit towards the brow bone and go about halfway through the crease. This is a nice peachy matte. I really was concerned that I would get a lot of shimmers with the Bingo, so I mean, I would have preferred one more matte and one less shimmer, but all the tones in this palette are nice, so it's not a concern for me. It's just would have been nice to have that additional shade to work with. I keep dipping back into this palette to grab more shadow because just because it's a light tone and I want it to be quite visible. I'm also dragging that onto the lid itself at the inner corner. Really, it's gonna be like a peachy foundation color for whatever else happens in there. This is a detail crease brush from e.l.f. It's pinched on both sides, so it's a little bit more straight and flat, but it's quite fluffy. I'm going to use this to soften these inner edges. Now with that same small blending brush, I'm taking the shade Delish, which is right next to Fluffy. It's the other matte that we have, and I'm going to put that on my outer corner. In the crease, create the shape that I like. The blue mattes in this palette, honestly all the colors in this palette are really, really lovely. The blue mattes are quite remarkable, and the brown mattes are gorgeous as well. They just blend themselves. They're so nice. I'm gonna put this in my outer corner and then also work it in a little bit. It's gonna overlap a bit of that peach color in the crease here. And then with the blending brush, I will soften those colors, work them together a little. When I have different colors on my lid, I always try to be working in an upward-outward shape. So, of course, the cat eye shape is that to begin with, but then you can see this peach comes up, but it's sort of between the peach and the blue, I've angled it this way. And that is very intentional because I always want the look to be given the impression of pulling like that. But sometimes I forget. What look did I do recently? I forget. There was a look that I did recently which had more of the colors up and down. That's because I kind of forgot to do this up and out sort of thing while I was doing that look, and I looked at pictures later, I was like, oh. I have no idea how this look is going to turn out. I'm hoping it's pretty. If it's not, I can always go wash my face. I will say, I don't like the look when it's done. I don't bother editing and uploading the video. I recently did a look I actually put on Instagram like, hey guys, I did this look. It wasn't my best. Should I post it anyway? And the responses that I got were, yeah, sure, go for it, post it anyway. But I didn't end up posting it because I wasn't proud of it. I just didn't like the way that it turned out. I didn't like one of the color choices that I made, and to be totally honest, I didn't love the rest of the color choices. There was one that was a genuine mistake, like, Rachel, those colors don't look good together. That sort of thing. It just didn't work, and I wasn't proud of it, and I was like, well, if I don't like the look, like if I can't get behind my own creation, then I'm not gonna go first off taking the time to edit a video and make it available for other people to use if it doesn't look good. I don't know. So if this look turns out weird and I just don't like it, then you will never see it, because I will delete the video and move on with life. So if you ever get to this point in the look and you go, it's a dud, wash it off. Don't continue. Don't waste your time continuing, because remember that from like here up is going to be visible. Even if you lay shimmers and other colors on your lids, from here up is kind of the first thing that people see before you even blink. And so if you hate this part, it's probably not worth your time to continue. But I think I like this part, so I will continue and see how it goes. I am going to dip into one of the browns. I'm going to take that same small blending brush, and I think I'll dip into the shade Decadent, which is the top right corner all the way on the end. I'm going to use that to deepen out the outer corner. This shade, it can be brown, but it can also be purple, and when I'm combining it with the blue here, it actually looks quite purple. As you can see, I'm tracing the cat eye shape, and then I'll just feather it in a little bit. Honestly, I'd forgotten how purple this one looks, depending on what colors you pair it with. If you pair it with the 350 degrees palette, shadow, then it looks a little bit more brown, because that's a really nice brown, actually. But since I'm pairing it with blue, it's turning into a deep plum. I'm using my blending brush to work those together a bit. Though they barely need it. And I will do the same thing over here. You can never go wrong with blue and purple. They always look good together. Honestly, I did totally forgotten that color would look purple. It actually works quite nicely with my shirt today, but I didn't plan on that. I'm now going to take a flat detail or shader brush. I'm going to dip into the shade Yummy. Is that the right one? Yes, it was Crumble, Sugared, and Yummy. So I'm going to dip into the shade Yummy, which is in the third column, third row. After I've dipped into the pan, I will spray the brush. And I'm going to place this right on the center of my lid, mainly in this blue area, like the center working towards the peach, but I'm not really overlapping it much past here. And I don't have any really dark colors in my crease, so I'm not going to try to cut it in any way. I'm just laying down the shadow. Back into my small blending brush from before, I'm just going to add in a little more matte. Like, I haven't put on any additional product, I'm just taking whatever's on the brush and work it into the edge of the shimmer. And then using the same small flat brush, I'm now dipping into the shade Sugared. And again, spraying my brush. This will go on my inner corner and as a highlight shade. And then I'll just meet the Yummy shadow that we placed right here. There, I think that's pretty. I like that. I think that's nice. I'm now taking a much smaller fluffy blending brush, or small pencil brush. I'm dipping back into the shade Delish, which is that blue matte that we used. I'm going to place this on the outer lower lash line. I'm going to place it on the entire lower lash line. I have to be careful with dark blues on my under eye, but I have found that light blues are okay. Honestly, this is about as dark as I would go from a blue under my eye. But I'm also going to add in some shimmer on my inner corner so it'll brighten it up a little bit there as well. I want to take that same brush. I'm now going to dip into the shadow Crumble, which we have not used yet. It is number 3 in the palette. I'm dipping into the pan, and then I'll spray my brush. And I'm going to place this on my inner corner of the lower lash line. So it's blending into the highlight shade of Sugared. And I'm gonna pull that like a third of the way in to really add some pop and brightness to that lower lash line. And then finally, should I use light blue or white on the waterline? Ooh, what should I do? What should I do? In honor of it being the Blueberry Muffin palette, we'll use blue on the waterline. This is a light blue. This is called Big Splash, and it's from ColourPop. Alright, that is it for the eyeshadows. I'm going to go off camera and put on some liner and finish this look up, and I'll be back. Okay, here's the finished look. I did put on some black eyeliner and I did a wing. I've got some mascara and some ColourPop lip oil. And I have to say, I am loving this eyeshadow look. I like it so much more than I thought that I would based on the colors, you know, that I randomly selected. And I just think it's really beautiful. It's kind of like the peachy blue is giving me saltwater taffy sort of vibes. Although usually I get those vibes from a peach and green combo, but I think this is really very pretty. It's lighthearted, it's not crazy heavy or very, very dramatic, but it still has some drama and a little bit of oomph, and I think it's beautiful. I am not surprised as far as the shadows in this palette performing very well. This palette's fantastic, and this is just proof that you can grab any shadows from it and turn it into a very pretty eyeshadow look. I hope you enjoyed this look as much as I do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will consider liking and subscribing and checking me out on Instagram as well at Shimmers and Silver. So until we see each other again, have a wonderful day. Bye! Which is right next to Fluffy. It's the other blue. It's right next to Fluff. All right, that's pretty much it. Okay, all right.